how do you design a really cool comic cover? So this question was asked by Nathan Center. I'm still learning this one with comic covers. In the past, I've done some really crappy ones, but I will go through the process I went through when designing the Scourge of Ninepoint, which is a recent comic I kickstarted. When I was first figuring out what the cover should be, I'd started doing some kind of market research. So I went and looked at covers for fantasy, sci-fi, adventure, novels, and comics to kind of get an idea of like, what is the market doing and what is the market doing well? What can I learn from this? And all it took was like some quick Google searches and like compiled like a mood board full of like all the different colors that were appealing to me. And I started writing down what they were doing well. So I was like, okay, I'm noticing patterns in color palettes. Like I saw a lot of reds paired with blues or like red and orange and really like limited color palettes instead of doing like every color in the rainbow. They were really focused. I noticed similar compositions popping up, like triangular patterns. If you look into basic composition, you'll see a lot of that because it's very appealing. But I noticed like focus on characters' faces, high emotion in characters. I noticed they almost felt like conceptual instead of like showing a full scene of something. So you'll notice if you start looking into like the market of your comic, you'll see trends. So like looking into the fantasy sci-fi side is probably going to be different than if you're looking at romance covers or BL covers. So just look into your market and your genre and see what are the trends, what are they doing right. So you're not trying to like copy these covers like exactly. You're just learning what appeals to the audience, what looks striking. And then you're going to take all that stuff and make it your own. Right, so once I'd done all this research on what the market was doing, I started scribbling down ideas. So kind of like what I've talked before about iterative drawing, that's what I did with designing this cover. So I started out with drawing 20 different ideas for different covers. I'd draw like circles and squares and rectangles for like the composition, and then I'd draw out characters on top to just kind of figure out really quickly different ideas that I wanted. It took maybe like half an hour to do the 20 different little thumbnail sketches. And then I sat down with Bones, my co-creator of Ninepoint, and we went through the 20 different ideas and we narrowed it down to 5 that looked really appealing. And from there, then we grabbed 3 color palettes that we liked. So these were just like generated from all the research we'd done. So I think we picked like one that was like orange and pink and brown, and then one that was like green and orange, and then one that was like red and blue. So just colors that we saw commonly popping up like within the market we were trying to go for. That fit the tone of our comic too. So we grabbed like 3 color palettes, and for each of the 5 like thumbnail sketches we chose, we tried each palette on them. Basically, we had 3 different versions of the same like thumbnail sketch with different color palettes. And from there, we picked our favorite color combinations with the different sketches. So we narrowed it down even further into like, this is what we really like. This looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool. We just chose our favorites. And from there, we hopped onto Twitter. We posted it on there with a poll asking like, which of these appeals to you more? And we left it for like a few hours, and we just let our audience kind of decide what appeals to them, what looks cool. Which, for one, is really great, because you're learning from your audience what they want to see, what catches their eye. So that when you do put out that book, it's gonna catch their eye. They're gonna want to see it. It also definitely brings in that personal connection with like having fans kind of help you make the cool work, which I think is great. Is really fun. So from there, we narrowed it down even further and started like refining the choice we'd made. So like we narrowed it down to 1 or 2, I think, and then we chose the one we liked the most and then started refining and working on it. I guess that's it for the designing side, is really knowing your market and trying out a whole bunch of different ideas, because your first idea is not going to be your best. So do like, 20 to 100 different attempts until you find like the perfect one, which sounds daunting, but it's super worth it. You're going to find way more creative ideas and solutions than you can on your first attempt. So I guess some other things to note and consider when you're designing your cover: always make sure to account for typography, because your cover is going to have your comic title on it. It's probably going to have your name on it. It might have like It might have a web address, whatever. But make sure to account for that. Give your composition room to have words on it. Don't design the whole cover and then slap words on it. I think talking about typography is like a whole other video onto itself. But when you're designing your cover, just make sure to account for it. And obviously make sure that you have the right page dimensions, depending on, where you're posting it. If you're going to print your book, make sure you have the right dimensions so you don't have to resize or crop anything weird. That is the process I went through when creating my comic cover. I hope that helps. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or you want to request a video, please leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!